going on, everybody? Welcome to the Wrestling Hour right here on adfreeshows.com, live on a Monday night on Festivus. That's right. It's Christmas Eve here. Very excited to be joined by none other than Eric Bischoff's new co-host, Josh Shernoff. Josh, how'd it go today, buddy?
It was great. So for people checking this out live, although I will say we are expecting some Ad-Free Shows members to join us a little late because somebody needs to give Double J, Jeff Jarrett, the Iggy, to take it home. He is also doing a live recording right now. But we will have people joining us momentarily. Earlier today, recorded a bonus episode of 83 Weeks, and I was tagged in to guest host with Eric Bischoff as we took a look back at a WCW Saturday night from August 27th, 1994. And I know what you're thinking. You're going, wait a minute, you got to do that episode? Yeah. So, yes, it is the one where Dave Sullivan interrupts Cactus Jack's promo. Wow. The honor was all mine. But no, it was awesome. It was a lot of fun. Had a little hiccup in the beginning with the record button. But it went great. But yeah, man. So, hey, happy holidays. Can I just say right here, I'm ready to go. I'm knocked up over here. So,
wow.
If I may.
Eggnog in the Wally world, I believe that's the Moose. Moose says you're closed. I say you're open. So, ladies and gentlemen, some eggnog for Josh. I got my water over here. That's about all I got as festive as I can get today.
This is eggnog, but don't get too excited. This, like Mother Mary herself, is virgin.
That's right. Josh doesn't drink. He is not fun. He doesn't know how to enjoy life. No.
Oh, I know how to enjoy life.
And like you said, it started off today with Mr. Eric Bischoff. That's dope. Definitely saw that. Very excited for you. Eric is a friend of the show now. We're on the same network as Eric Bischoff and Conrad and Double J and all these really awesome members of the pro wrestling community.
Jim Ross, JBL now hanging out.
I mean,
it's something to wrestle.
It doesn't get any better than that. So, but yeah, anyway, Merry Christmas to everybody out there. I don't want to hear no happy holidays. No, Merry Christmas. If you celebrate Christmas,
God forbid. Hey, God forbid we'd be inclusive, right, Dave? Let's not get crazy. Happy holidays. You know what? Dave Sturchio, I agree with you. Screw Hanukkah, screw Kwanzaa, and all the people. No, you know what? No. I'm going to back you up on that. Dave Sturchio says it's Christmas or nothing. I got your back.
It's not Christmas or nothing. It's what I celebrate. So that's what I wish the following people, right?
Now, question for you. Should you? Or should you be wishing based on what the other person's celebrating? Now, if it's a perfect stranger, and I'm not talking about Balki Bartakamas, but if it's a stranger on the street.
Big show,
like
by
that?
The way.
Oh, man, it's so good.
So good.
But if it's a stranger on the street, you don't know what they celebrate. The polite thing is to say, Happy Holidays, because you don't know what the holiday is that they're celebrating, but you're wishing them a happy holiday, whatever it is. Now, that I think is appropriate. Having said that, as a Jew, as you can tell, my menorah on my VHS below. That's
great.
But as a Jew, what I will say is, if someone wishes me Merry Christmas, that means the same to me as if they wished me a happy holiday or a happy Hanukkah, because I know the intent behind it is wishing me a happy holiday. So my feeling is no one should get bent out of shape over happy holidays, and no one should get bent out of shape over somebody wishing them a merry or happy anything that might not be what they celebrate, if the intent is just wishing a good time to everybody.
You know what?
Right?
You know what, Josh? You have a great point. It's a great point. However, I think it's even better to sift out the jerks of the world, meaning if you do say Merry Christmas, if their response isn't Merry Christmas back or Happy Holiday back, and it's I don't celebrate Christmas, I celebrate that. Like if they have to
that's
elaborate,
ridiculous.
like, goodbye. You're dead to me. It's over. We can't be friends.
But
And
that's
it.
my point. Like, listen, unless you're walking into a synagogue and wishing people Merry Christmas, then I kind of be like, Dave, read the room, right? But like, if you're out amongst people, because look, the Jewish community, we're a minority, a drastic minority in this country. So your odds, especially the people you hang out with, the odds are that they're not going to be Jewish. And that's just because you don't like to hang out with Jews unless it's a job. But look, and that's fine. That's fine, right? But is this virgin?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that one out.
That's what. Wait, never mind.
Yeah, don't just. I mean, not that anybody's tuning in just yet.
Man,
but,
look at me. God, the stories this brings back.
Yeah.
What?
Are you sure? Are you absolutely certain there's no nog in that eggnog?
Oh man, is nog the?
I don't know.
Is nog the alcoholic aspect of eggnog?
I'm absolutely going with nog is the.
So there's no nog in here. This is just egg. That's all it is. I cracked an egg, a little bit of nutmeg as well.
Hey, listen. So anyway.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope everybody's doing well out there in the world of professional wrestling fanhood. And like we said before, we're being presented on adfreeshows.com first. And later on in the week, we can get this episode up on the MyFandom YouTube channel. Listen, right now, I feel like I think you could probably agree with me, Josh. While the stories are a building within the WWE, and tonight, you have a taped Raw, and I know maybe I didn't even know until I saw something on Twitter. I'm like, man, because it's like I'll tune into Raw during football season, but like during halftime or bigger segments, I'll kind of split screen it up a little bit. But knowing it's taped, then I'm going to tape it, and I'll watch it either after football if I'm still awake or, tomorrow at some point. But agree with me or disagree, WWE has Saturday night's main event. We talked about it last week. Is it now cruise control until the debut on Netflix? Because I mean, like, you're doing tape shows right now. It's almost as if like, okay, who gives a shit? Let's just get through this, and then we get to January 6th, national holiday, by the way.
Yeah, for you. Which I'm waiting for WWE to put out the I was there January 6th shirts to sell at Raw.
I'm getting one.
Man, those are and then people are gonna be like, oh my god, I can't believe like Jericho's wife would be at the competition. But stop. That is inappropriate. No place for that here.
Zero.
Man. So
cruise control.
These late night shows.
And the live ones too, which is even better, because then like at one point you're gonna be like, oh, should I have said that? And then it's like, oh, it's too freaking late.
It's there. It's there.
It's out there. It's in the universe.
I think they're on a bit of cruise control, but I think it makes sense at this point. Like, first of all, it's the holidays. They're allowing the wrestlers to be home with their families, which is incredible. And some people who maybe just started watching wrestling are like, well, of course they're home with their families. It's Christmas. No, that's not how wrestling used to work. Right? Wrestling, Christmas, Thanksgiving, these were just massive wrestling days. These are where people were making the big bucks. And the reality is this was at a time where if you didn't work, you didn't get paid. But if you did work a Christmas show, you're making a lot more money than any other show you're working that year. So, but I think it's cool. Also, WWE tends to throw in some other vignettes and stuff like that the live audience hasn't seen, so it hasn't been reported on yet. So, not that anything's gonna set the world on fire with these backstage vignettes, but they do hold back some of these things. So, yeah, I mean, I agree with you completely. There's no sense of urgency. It's not. I don't need to tune in immediately at 8:00. Which, let's be honest, when was the last time anyone really was like, I have to be watching live?
No BS for, I want to say like when I first started watching wrestling as a kid, and then got into, the Raw is War, Monday Night Wars, I was never, and there's no disrespect to Mr. Bischoff, but I was never a WCW guy. Like, it was just Raw, strictly WWF through and through.
So
But there
just
was
to be clear, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, Nitro, those were your 3 non-starters.
those are
right?
my bugaboos.
Those are,
My bugaboos. No, but yeah, right. No, I'm just saying, like, there was a period of time of my life where I would not miss a Monday Night Raw. Like, I would not miss the start, and this is all before DVR and taping things, right? Like, I wouldn't miss it for nothing. And it was a long stretch of time. I think it probably gotten to the ruthless aggression era where I was just like, okay, I mean, if I don't tune in at 8, it's not the end of the world. You know what I mean? Like, but for a long time, yeah, Josh, I was in the front of the TV, like, boop. And if I was late, oh, forget it. The world was about to end.
but let's put it in context here too of the time period, right? There was no DVR.
Right.
And I mean, God forbid you were relying on your VCR. Not to speak ill of VHSs as we have them beneath us here, but I mean, there was a 40% chance that you were going to end up watching anything recorded. And then of that, there was a 20% chance that it would be what you meant to record. So, it was challenging at the time. So yeah, I think ruthless aggression, that era was probably when, TiVo started becoming a thing and, other DVRs. But I remember these DVRs were like, you had to go buy a DVR. There was no like, this was kids.
You have it made.
Okay. You have no idea today. It's like my kids will never know what it's like to watch a premium live event on the static channel.
You want to know struggle, right? Try forgetting to set your DVR when that first came about. Mm-hmm. Try forgetting to set your DVR to 1107. Because if you didn't and you stopped at 11, guess what?
You missed the end.
You missed the end of Raw. And guess what? You didn't see nothing until the following week because there was no replay or this, that, and the third, or the internet to show all the highlights, or really cool people out there reacting to everything like,
if I can't see somebody's face reacting to what they just saw with absolutely no context, man,
catastrophic. But yeah, so like the original question, in case you're just tuning in or wondering what the hell we're talking about, Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, we're in the final stretch, the back stretch of 2024. All signs headed towards the Royal Rumble, but obviously we have to get to January 6th first. Raw on Netflix. Rumors have kind of made their way that there is no like hard out as far as length of an episode, so you'll never just calm down, Josh. Drink your egg. So I'm saying there will be no restrictions on that. Like, who's to say Raw is a 1 hour and 59 minute show instead of 2 hours and 6 minutes? You won't know, and it won't matter because it's not like you got to tune into the next thing or they have a contract with somebody else that starts at 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. or whatever.
Right.
So now you're going to get a little bit more of a freestyle. Like, yeah, it'll be structured. They're not going to go away from structure because they are so programmed to make sure that, the time is right and all this other crap. But towards that back end, or maybe even this is beneficial to, say, a really good promo, Josh. Mm-hmm. Like that sometimes you're like, oof, that
they're
went
not
over.
Getting wrapped up. Yeah.
Right. Like that went over a little bit. That's going to screw up the next match or whatever match. Like they got the wiggle room to kind of be as freelance as they want. I think that's that's a very good thing for Raw.
Yeah, I think so. And yeah, if people are like, oh my God, this thing could go 10 hours long. Like, no, it's not going to. The show is still going to be formatted. You can't have a show the level of what they do production wise at WWE and not have it formatted to a T. But when something goes a little long, they'll be able to let the referee know through his earpiece, say things like, let it go a little longer. Like they'll know if they're cooking in the ring there, right? Like they'll let them go without that fear of, oh my God, if we're not out at this specific time, then we got to cut from the main event. And that's happened so many times before. Think about that time when Bret Hart was in the wheelchair and he's berating Shawn Michaels and they go off the air before Michaels super kicks him.
Oh,
That won't happen anymore.
But that's crazy that it actually did go off the air now that I'm remembering it. So how the hell? Yeah, I mean, obviously the cameras don't stop rolling. It's just a matter of feed.
And they showed it the next week or on the syndicated stuff as well. They put it out there. But Shawn Michaels was hot about it, right? Because he thought it made him look like he just stood there getting berated until they went off the air. But and Bret didn't see the cue. Maybe, who knows? But no. What?
Shut up.
What'd you say?
Shut up. I said you're nothing but a degenerate.
Oh
I'm
man.
talking about
that coin D-Generation X. So
I know. So thank you for lining Sean's pockets, Brett.
Man,
you screwed yourself over twice.
You know what? You might not be a Bret Hart fan, but the two of you sit around there. His hatred of Goldberg, he can't love Hanukkah. So
I never even thought about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, greatness from one Lil Jimmy Sorensen. Good afternoon, James.
All right. Now, if people, James Sorensen deserves to just kind of be. We'll read it out. But James, do you have the ability to hit those little buttons to bring your stuff up onto the screen? We're testing this out, folks.
How would he have the ability to do that?
Well, it's a feature, right?
Oh, is
Where
it?
He can click something, allegedly, and it brings up on the screen. This is what I'm hearing. I don't know. Talk to our producer. He doesn't know either.
Yeah. Where's he at today? He's already on. He's already 3 nogs deep.
3 nogs deep over here, man.
But yeah, so like I said, we're talking about some Raw headed to Netflix, and obviously, a little bit more of a loose schedule for them. Efren is also checking us out on adfreeshows.com. Efren, miss you, man. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, everything that you celebrate.
No, okay, Efren. Okay, we're gonna pull back the curtain here.
You're gonna throw this around again?
Because Efren's hold on. He is telling me #killing me, not James, that James can't be the one. Listen, Efren.
See, I told you.
Bam, there you go. I know how to do it. But we're trying to do this thing here where you guys give us a little Christmas bonus in order to get your stuff up there on the
All right, so what he's asking for,
screen.
ladies and gentlemen, what he's asking for is the super chat stuff, man.
Super chat. I'm trying to casually be like super chat. You have any idea how difficult it is for me to ask these people to give us anything? I just want to give to them. No, I'm a giver. I am a giver.
Oh, my accountant Josh Shernoff over here. Listen, not stereotypical at all, by the way. Well, listen. There's a chat that you have to look at. All right, well, we'll figure all that out.
No, they get it now. They understand what's going on. Efren's okay.
Here we go.
All right, we're having fun tonight. We're having fun tonight.
We are on the Nog. Listen, again, thank you guys for tuning in on a live broadcast of the Wrestling Hour. Dave Sturchio, Josh Shernoff.
Does this mean that Jeff Jarrett wrapped up?
I would assume so. We have a couple viewers, so yeah. So people have filed out of his courtroom, and now they're over here. Maybe text Conrad live to see now. Sure. We'll get him on the Rolodex. No big deal.
Are you implying that I don't have Conrad's phone number?
I don't. I don't. I have Eric Bischoff's phone number. I would never.
In fairness, Conrad specifically asked me not to give it to you.
I have Cody Rhodes' phone number, but I would never use it unless extremely intoxicated, where I'm just gonna record myself singing a song whoa, but I won't do that.
Don't do that. He doesn't do that.
Well, learn from experience.
No, I don't know.
Try seeing on one kid video, and it's just a whole mess. But yeah, so Raw tonight.
Netflix.
Yes. So
talking about Netflix. Yeah.
So my other question about Netflix and Raw, and maybe this has been addressed, and maybe some people in the chat can chime in. Commercials. Are we still getting commercials of some variation? Because now that you don't have sponsors, or at least you cut them, or at least if you do have sponsors, you got to cut Netflix into the deal. So that's a whole nother ball game when it comes to commercials. And it also, as a former wrestler, and you're a former wrestler as well, you know that commercial break is huge for your wind and a reset and like a, kind of pay, like, whatever the word I'm looking for, to the crowd, just pander to the crowd a little bit, right? So does that change anything with Netflix being kind of ad-free shows.com? You know what I mean?
They wish. No, look, I'm not sure if they're gonna. Look, there will still be advertisement. Maybe it'll be different. I doubt they're gonna go to a commercial break, because you're paying to watch this. Now, you might not feel that way, but you're paying for your Netflix subscription. So in essence,
which continues to go up, by the way. I am so sick
well,
of that.
now you're going to be getting Monday Night Raw.
Ooh.
So, well, you say ooh, but it's exciting for some folks. You know why? Because if I'm on the road somewhere, it's great to have DVR. But if I'm on the road wherever I am, I can just bring it up on my phone.
Sure.
I mean, this is an exciting time. This is an exciting time. But I will say, WWE, if there's one thing that they love, it's making money. So I promise you, there's no way they're going to sit back and go, whoa, no commercials here, guys.
Well, like James Sorensen came in. We had commercials with Peacock for the Saturday Night's Main Event show, but I may be talking apples to pomegranates.
Listen.
Not apples to oranges. Fuck that. Sorry. We're going above and beyond.
Oh, James, here's the thing. That was a network
that was NBC.
show. That was NBC. Right. That was a different story. So it wasn't streaming in that regard.
We're talking about apples to wrenches here, James. So as Josh goes to the chug.
Ma'am, get me some more? There's no one there.
You should not talk to your wife like that. She's such a kind soul.
What is this? Oh, they're divorce papers. So
there's always Efren for you, Josh. Don't worry about it, buddy.
Hey,
you're all good.
Hey, Efren's looking over my shoulder, but only because he's got my back. And hey,
he said he's a receiver, so we're treading right now. We are
exactly.
Right there.
We are.
The line is here. We're about right about here.
Yeah, for those of you who missed it, so Dave hates Jews. He hates WCW.
Yeah. You are such a no, don't hate any of that. I don't think. I guess we'll have to revisit the tape.
He hates the player. Totally fine with the game.
Totally. Sucky ducky quack quack. Anyway, show's off the rails and we're only 23 minutes into the live show. But according to Sorensen, we're going head to head still with Jeff Jarrett. So Jeff, my guy, you slap nut, get off the air so we can get some people over here.
Take it home. Take it home,
Take
Jeff.
it home. Here's your Iggy. Get off the air. We love you to death. You're my favorite boss I've ever had in independent wrestling. But still, please give us a little, as I said last year, give us some burn. Huh? Give us some burn. This is actually, it's really cool, Josh. And it's dating our
burn.
It's dating our relationship as colleagues and coworkers and whatever the hell you want to call us. Mm-hmm. But this is our second holiday show for the Wrestling Hour. We've done one of these already. That's kind of crazy. We did a whole season worth of Christmas and Hanukkah stuff last year, and now we're here again. A little different. We're not in my studio in Matawan, New Jersey. He's in Pennsylvania. Studios. I'm in New Jersey. But yeah, so anyway, back to the wrestling. But look, so tonight's Raw, like I said, taped. I think it kicks off with Drew McIntyre promo. So I'm sure he'll explain some of the stuff that's been going down.
A lot of butts in seats. Actually, it really will. Drew he just won, was it Sports Illustrated? The best talker or best on the mic award?
Really?
Yeah, for this year, for the year-end awards.
I know he's your boy. Mm-hmm. And he's a dear friend of yours, and I love his work. I've called one of his matches, one of his last matches on the Independence, second round before he went back to WWE against Anthony Bowens, nonetheless. But best talker, like I actually get a little not annoyed, but I'm just like, all right, maybe Here we go. So Dave no longer doesn't like the Jewish community. He no longer likes Nitro. And
Scottish people.
Now he doesn't like Scottish people either.
No.
So it's like, what are we doing here? But I don't know, man. Best talker? That's a little. For me, it's a stretch.
Listen, the marks over at Sports Illustrated who are putting that list together anyway. Obviously, I guess I wasn't allowed to be considered, and that's fine. That's fine. I also noticed that they didn't have best manager on that list, and I don't think they had best commentators on that list. And if they did, it would be us. And you can see that or hear that somewhere for Awesome Championship Wrestling.
Yes.
And I say that because I have no idea where that's going to be streaming. I know we're being brought in to do commentary for a stacked card in Poughkeepsie, New York, Mid-Hudson Civic Center. Get your tickets if they're still available.
Josh looked at Ticketmaster the other day, and you texted me, you're like, dude, this is going to be a big event. Like the crowd that's going to be at ACW in Poughkeepsie is going to be something surreal. And shout out to those guys again. We do put them over pretty much every week, but
they're fantastic.
Even now, their efforts and their marketing, and they got billboards up, they got like digital signs at malls, they got it's a breath of fresh air to show and see somebody hustling and not relying on a network or anything like that. They're just grassrooting this shit. Yeah. They don't work for WWE, they don't work for AEW, they don't have any pull like that. They are just two dudes that want to put on an awesome wrestling show, hence Awesome Championship Wrestling. And I couldn't be more pumped for it. I really can't, because I think it's been too long since you and I have gotten to dance, for a while. So I want to do that. But yeah, kudos to them, man. It's something cool to see old school marketing again working. You know what I mean? Like they're doing radio spots. They busted open, put them over big time, because Dave LaGreca, a good friend of ours, is going to be there. So.
He's going to be there. Tommy Dreamer will be there.
In action,
in action. Did I tell you this? I feel like I did on maybe last week's show, but I'll say it again. When my first time when I was carrying Bill Apter's bags, I know I talked about that aspect of it, but ECW Hardcore Heaven 99 at the Mid-Hudson Civic Center was my first legitimate job in the pro wrestling business. I was 15 years old, and I can be seen on camera there, above, in front of the front row. I had like a section. I had my press pass and was able to just watch some of the matches. And I watched guys like Tommy Dreamer compete, like Little Guido. And now I get to call the matches in that same building with those guys again competing. This is a full circle moment for me personally, and is just such a cool moment for professional wrestling fans, specifically in the Poughkeepsie area. So, man, if there are tickets still available by the time you're hearing this, just go get them now. Tommy Dreamer said the other day he has never wrestled at the Hammerstein or Mid-Hudson Civic Center without it being a sellout. So
yeah. So now
do you want to be the one who doesn't get a ticket and breaks that streak for Tommy Dreamer?
So let's talk about something else besides WWE and ACW for a second, because Jimmy Sorensen does bring up something I was very interested in seeing. Mm-hmm. And that was the surprise arrival. We obviously talked about Cardona being at Ring of Honor trying to compete with Jericho for the Ring of Honor championship, but then Jericho showing up on Ring of Honor. I mean, at the Hammerstein. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Where the hell was it?
GCW.
Anyway, GCW, that's what I meant.
Hammerstein Championship Wrestling. No, they were out in LA.
Yeah, and so for like, what are your thoughts about this entire? We said a little bit last week, so I guess Jimmy didn't actually watch the show, and he says he does, but now I'm calling him a liar.
I think he was having lunch with Eric Bischoff.
Possibly as part of his adfreeshows.com subscription. Is that how it works? People pay top dollar to be a top guy, right?
So it's true, and it's worth every penny. But
sure,
years ago, James Sorensen was such a great supporter of myself and the Blue Meanie when we had a show that we said to Sorensen, "Hey man, next week you're going to be, I think we gave him maybe like a month's notice actually. So you're going to be a guest host on the show with us. Come on in, ask some questions, do whatever."
Oh, wow.
And he was pumped. He was excited. And man, we were excited just to have Little Jimmy Sorensen on there. So the man just like no shows, and we're like, "What are you doing?" And he's at lunch with Eric Bischoff.
I mean, does it get any
look,
bigger than that, though?
You think Meanie and I didn't already know that we were second fiddle to an Eric Bischoff? We knew, but did we need our number one supporter, James Bartholomew Sorensen?
Bartholomew?
I'm guessing. I don't know. Did we need him to just rub it in our face?
Anyway, what are you thinking about this angle and where it's going? As far as your best friend in the entire universe, Matt Cardona, Chris Jericho, a little bit of mix between ROH and GCW. Can they capitalize on this more? Will they? I know they had their match and whatever, but like, can you just build off this? Because just based off of the things that I've seen, from an 83 weeks, like Eric Bischoff and Conrad, I've seen them talk about the fact that, AEW has peaked and now they're on a nosedive and now it's headed downhill. So do you think that something like this can bring some more eyes and attention if they continue to build this? You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing for a one-off, but can they continue to build off this and do a little cross promo?
I think they can. In my mind, this is leading to the Hammerstein show. Now, I had predicted or suggested that Matt Cardona take the Ring of Honor title and then Chris Jericho take it back from him at GCW's show. But that was maybe giving too much credit to the relationship between the two companies. Either way, I don't know if Matt Cardona is finished with Ring of Honor and AEW at this point. If he is, I would have to imagine it's his choice because, the guy debuts and instantly has the number one selling T-shirt on AEW shop.
Are you surprised?
Not at all. Not at all. But Matt Cardona is money. And all, friendship aside, the man knows how to get buzz. And AEW is in dire, desperate need of buzz. I was watching, we mentioned Eric Bischoff. Mr. Bischoff was kind enough to have me as a guest host, as mentioned earlier in the show, for 83 weeks, with the bonus 83 weeks coming up this week. And we did a watch along. And I'm looking at WCW 1994, which we all look at and say, oh man, that was not a good time in WCW, right? But I'm watching this and I'm going, man, this is way better. WCW Saturday Night, August 27th, 1994. There's way more star power on there with way more story than there is on AEW. And I'm not talking about better athletes. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about star power. And you had Vader was on the show. You had, in fairness, Stunning Steve Austin. Of course, he would go on to be slightly bigger than Stunning Steve Austin.
Just a little bit.
But you had Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, which may have been his last televised match until he returned in 2008. But you'll have to tune in to 83 weeks to find out all about that. But my point is, you got Terry Funk on the show, Dusty Rhodes on the show. So, yeah, Chris Jericho is on AEW. Can't take away his contributions to his career and where he's at. What else? Christian. Okay. Cactus Jack was on the show. I don't know if I mentioned him before on this WCW show. Paul Orndorff. There was so much the Nasty Boys, so many names in the wrestling business. And look, Will Ospreay, I don't think anyone's going to argue that he is that he can run circles around Jerry Sags, right, in the ring. But Jerry Sags, there were, some could argue in certain worlds that he was over more than Will Ospreay. Obviously not in the sickos world. Obviously not in.
That's not a bold thing. That's the thing. Like what wrestlers were able to do back then you would think that with the world and the power of social media, that this is like a no-brainer, that like if you can't get over at this point right now with all the power that's behind you, I'm talking AEW, TNT, TBS, fuck everything, right? Internet, TikTok, Instagram, all these platforms, and you can't get over now, then I'm sorry, it's time to pack it in and choose another line of work. You can be as acrobatic as all hell. You can be Will Ospreay. You can be what the hell's this guy? Puma Kid. I'm drawing a blank.
Wow.
You can be these athletes that are beyond like anything we've ever seen, but it's all about like, why else would I watch you? If I want to see stuff like that, I can go somewhere and watch something like that.
Right. Story,
I can go,
it's character. What? That's what you
Yeah,
need to see.
it is, and they continue to downplay that. That's not a big deal. That's not like, we'll work on it. Blah blah blah. Like, all right, for instance, what they are doing now with Adam Cole and MJF did the whole face-to-face thing. That, again, I wish more people saw it, but not enough did, right? And like I'm watching, and to me, when MJF is on the mic, he's kind of untouchable, I think, on the microphone, and he's a great wrestler. But even him, like, do you think there's any buyer's remorse for a guy like MJF when he had the opportunity? I don't even want to say opportunity. I'm not even sure he was ever presented a contract from Triple H or in WWE, but like, do you think there's buyer's remorse on a lot of guys that went down there to think that this was the next best thing? Adam Copeland, guys that have jumped ship the other way. Do you think they're looking at it like, that's it? All right, I know I'm rambling and it's all over the place, but what I'm really starting to see very, very bad indications of when WCW just took on every single talent they possibly could. Right. And then at the end of the day, it was over, done. And then you had to hope that you went to the WWE.
Right.
Like,
and the argument,
Scott Hall and Kevin Nash left because less dates, more money, right? Mm-hmm. Less dates, more money was the thing. I already got friends. Now I want to make money, blah, 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 all that. Like, now, if Adam Copeland goes to AEW, what is the reasoning to do that? And I don't want to hear, for the love of wrestling.
No.
He could have stayed at WWE, man. He could have.
Less dates, more money?
That's what I'm saying.
More freedom?
That's the problem.
You also have to remember, you have to, the context of when some of these guys left, right? Look at a guy like Keith Lee. Would Keith Lee have left WWE if it was today's WWE? Probably not. Now, no. That's me as a fan saying that, not knowing Keith Lee personally, not knowing what led to the decisions that he made, right? But
Ricochet is who I was thinking about before.
Oh, okay. So Ricochet. You want to talk about buyer's remorse? I mean, buyer's remorse should be, God, I was going to say should be AEW, but that's not fair. That's because they've got Ricochet. It's what they're doing with Ricochet. Having said that, I think they might be onto something. I don't like it yet, but I'm seeing glimpses of maybe I'm not supposed to like it, right? Maybe that's wishful thinking, but I feel like there's at least something with Ricochet where you're paying attention a little bit to this character they're doing with him. But again, why do some weird offbeat character with a guy who his whole story was, man, I finally have come somewhere where I can put on these bangers that I always wanted to, but I couldn't in WWE. But now I'm here to be free to flip around with Will Ospreay.
I don't understand that cop-out. Like, you could have absolutely put on that kind of match at WWE, right? It's just not that style of the whole let's flip until we're out flipped, like that's not always going to work. But watching Ricochet in the ring, I swear to God, if I could pull up the tweet, I'm pretty sure I said, you give Ricochet time to develop mic skills and this dude can main event WrestleMania. I swear to God, I said that when he first started. But now it's like I've lost all, not respect, because I think he's a phenomenal performer. I don't think there's any hope for him.
I was going to say you lost hope because he's been given how many years?
I know.
To learn those mic skills. And I'm sorry, and I don't want hey, for all I know, he is working really hard. But
probably is.
It's it's 2024, almost 2025. At this point in time, even if you're on the road or whatever it is, you can have a coach FaceTiming you, right? Working on your communication skills, working on your ability, your acting ability. Every professional wrestler should have acting classes. It's something that Freddie Prinze Jr. has told me. He was there doing class, with working on acting lessons with everybody, the ability to emote, because that's what this, at the end of the day, look, we all love pro wrestling. You and I, more than a lot of people that are watching this, can speak to what it is to actually pursue that and be in the ring. And there is a love of the physicality and actually being out there and that rush of being able to perform. But the key word is perform, because it's entertainment. So you have to be able to deliver on the microphone. You have to be able to deliver all across the board. And to go, you look at Ricochet, he was only going to go so far because, like you said, he could have, in the ring, could have been a main eventer at WrestleMania. Could have happened. Why not? Bryan Danielson was. But Bryan Danielson could talk. No one was going to go, oh my God, he's the greatest talker in the entire world. But when he spoke, you felt it. You believed it, right? He may not have had that ability like some other people, but yeah, I think Ricochet, to me, desperately needs to be working on that if he isn't already. And the key thing, and I know Ricochet does not care at all what I have to say and will not take my advice.
And he shouldn't. He shouldn't.
But the one thing that I will tell him, and this is fact, right? What you need to think about with every promo that you step into is intent. What is your character's intent with this promo? What is the point you're trying to get across? They might give you words. Maybe they don't give you words here. But what is your intent? Because if you can feel it and believe it, this is something that Eric and I were talking about earlier today when we were recording. He was talking about Mick Foley. And we were noticing that even with the sound off, that Mick Foley, you could feel how good a promo it was without even knowing what he was saying. And I'm not saying that anyone needs to, they must be on that level of one of the best ever. But I just feel like you need to go into it. What is your intent? Why are you talking to me? Right? Why? And I think that that's the starting point to really believe what he's doing.
Here's the thing now, and I agree with everything you just said. I think it was a very well thought out point.
Thank you.
In
I'm
wrestling,
very good at what I do.
In wrestling, for the age, the entire time wrestling's been around, right? Pro wrestling's been around. You can get away with not being the greatest in the ring if you're a fantastic talker. Like, you can get away with that. Nowadays, you need to be the complete package or nobody's going to give a shit. Yeah. Right? And even if guys like, all right, I bring up, rest in peace, Bray Wyatt, right? You're not going to see him doing all sorts of crazy, crazy spots. But boy, when I tell you, when Bray Wyatt took a mic, I'm not looking away. I'm dead in his soul. I'm like, dude, whoa. Like, he is unbelievable.
Because he knew how to. And again, that's an example of one of the best to ever be on the mic, right? Like, it's
exception to the rule is what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, if you are that wow factor and you're like good in the ring, you can main event WrestleMania. You can. But if you have all these crazy Osprey type-esque in-ring ability and you can't carry a promo and you can't sell a fight, what good are you for me? Like, I need you to sell me tickets. I need you to sell me a fight. Like, why would anybody be interested if you can't get on the mic and grab my attention? That's where we're at in 2024, 2025. You cannot, if you're, again, like I said, if you're subpar in wrestling, but you have these crazy skills on the stick, right? That's great. You can make it. But you can't just be a one-trick pony anymore. You can't. You can't just be a high-flying, crazy man doing all these super stunts and not be able to speak. That's where we're at in wrestling. And I really hope that like the up and coming generation of professional wrestlers are listening or watching or hearing this. Just talk to yourself in the mirror. Talk to yourself, just like you said. Have intent. Just pretend you're in a blood feud with your old boss. I don't know, whatever. Just practice. You have to have these reps, or you're just not gonna make it in this wrestling world. Like there are guys out there, like I said, that can wrestle anybody, anytime, anywhere. But I tell you who I'm more invested in is the guys that captivate me on the microphone. And that's because pro wrestling has turned into, like you said before, entertainment. And that's where we're at. James Sorensen, perfect example. Dusty Rhodes. Dude wasn't going to wrestle off, some of the greatest 5-star Meltzer matches, but I tell you what, he captivated me when he grabbed that microphone. Same thing with Roddy Piper. But Roddy Piper, I think, was a great wrestler.
But here's the thing. And Dusty was in his own right, too, because they got who they were. Dusty Rhodes and Roddy Piper weren't trying to be something they weren't. They were Dusty Rhodes and Roddy Piper. No matter character or no character, that character was just them turned up a little bit. They believed who they were. When Dusty Rhodes cut that Hard Times promo, that man believed it. Maybe it wasn't exactly, maybe it wasn't the story he's referencing, that the feud he's a part of, maybe that wasn't reality. But in that moment, to that man, it was, and that's the difference. Hey, shout out to Megan Nelson for joining us here.
Love Megan.
But I just, guys like Dusty Rhodes, Roddy Piper, James Sorensen says, who effing cares about what Dave Meltzer thinks? His opinion is his opinion that needs to go away. Well, so here's the thing. I don't think it needs to go away because everyone's entitled to an opinion, even if it's wrong, right? Everyone's entitled to an opinion. Dave Meltzer is the wrestling observer. And the only time I've ever had an issue with Dave Meltzer, aside from, the times where he's made some homophobic comments or sexist comments or, racist comments. But listen, that was back in the day, right? We'll forgive that.
I wish I knew what the hell you were talking about, because if that's the case, I don't even know why the hell he's still around.
No. But because it was back in the day, because it was more anytime he would talk about Gold Dust, like it was, and again, not in his defense, but you have to put it in that time period of where it was. But there was definitely a lot of.
It's so funny you mentioned Gold Dust, because it's like, here's a guy who can wrestle, chain wrestle, do all the brawling, do everything, and that wasn't enough back then. Mm-hmm. So then here comes this Gold Dust character, and it's just like, whoa, like now it's on, right? And that Gold Dust character literally carried him decades into the WWE. And then, oh, by the way, he still kind of dawns that look, when he puts the half makeup on.
It's an evolution, and it's because that's part of who he is now. That's part of him as a wrestler. And man, he's so good still. He's just, it's insane how good.
Would you put him in and this might go into a real long, I know we're going to run out of time, but like,
I got nowhere to go. I need more nog. Hey, I need more nog. No one's there.
Would you put Dustin Rhodes in top 10 ever?
Man, I would really need to.
I know.
Look at a list.
But these are the debates that can go on for days.
But here's what I will say, though.
But taking all things considered, hold on. All things considered, in-ring skill, mic, character development, longevity, right? That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about just Shawn Michaels being the greatest in-ring guy, right? Like, I'm talking about full package top 10, because there could be a million wrestlers that we watch do it, like a Kenny Omega. I think his wrestling is fantastic. The mic work, that's pretty good, but I don't think he holds a candle to Dustin Rhodes.
No, not at all. I think what speaks volumes to me is the fact that I had to think for a second and go, okay, I need to think about the top 10. But I didn't, if you notice, say, nah. Right?
Exactly.
There are a lot of people out there you can go, would you put them in the top 10 of all time? No.
You know what the quote is for that? It's in the conversation. that's what
Right.
that means. Like,
in the
if he's in the
conversation.
conversation.
In certain ways, like you're talking about, right? If we're talking longevity, I mean, God, he might be top 5, like top.
Right.
He might be top. I mean,
Right.
it's
You would have to throw guys like Jericho in there, right? I mean, how many times that
sure.
dude's gonna reinvent himself and still can go in the ring and has the mic skills, and like, do I think the newest version of Jericho is all that great? I don't think so, but to be honest with you, it's still getting the buzz that he needs to get, so it's
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah,
I
man,
think-
longevity to me is a big thing. And I don't even want to say longevity. I want to say staying relevant for that long a time, because like anybody could last, and we've seen some really long locker rooms where they're just like, man, that guy should have retired 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like the people that are
yeah.
still doing their thing, could still bring you the package that is a professional wrestler.
Yeah, and a guy like Dustin Rhodes can still go out and he could have the match of the night.
Absolutely. We saw it
I still
live.
think
We saw
Dustin.
great things.
Yeah, I will say Dustin and Cody, their match at the first AEW pay-per-view, in my opinion, and like we said, it's opinions. Meltzer's entitled to his, I'm entitled to mine. The best match, hands down, in the history of AEW took place on their first pay-per-view, and it was Dustin and Cody.
So you're basically saying that AEW blew their load on their first fucking
listen. AEW has had some phenomenal matches. They blew something in the sense that, I mean, if you start talking about some of these phenomenal matches, they involve guys like a CM Punk. I think the story of CM Punk and MJF, which never had a payoff, but I mean, God, they were doing some fun stuff. And but to me, yeah, a guy like Dustin, just so good. And I hope that the younger people in the locker room are taking advantage of him being there, because Dustin, Jericho, Christian, Edge, they're not going to be there forever. And I'm not being morbid. I'm saying they're not going to, they're not going to be 70 years old on TV. Maybe they will. Who knows, right? Maybe they will be. But take advantage of having those guys in the locker room. The Performance Center. I loved my time in OVW. Don't get me wrong. Learning from Al Snow, training under Rip Rogers, training under Nick Dinsmore and Joey Mercury and stuff was awesome. Training at the Wild Samoan Training Center when I was 18, that was amazing. And, I love that family, except for that Jacob Fatu. But, come on. But, and learning under Al Snow, getting to sit next to him and learn. I never trained in the ring with Al, but I learned so much more just sitting next to him. But while I absolutely love that, I have jealousy. Not from oh man, I wish I was in the ring right now performing in front of an audience. I am so envious of the talent that gets to be there under Shawn Michaels, William Regal, and the other people that are there at the Performance Center.
Matt Bloom, all these guys, dude.
Yeah.
They're loaded with knowledge, loaded with experience, and I know this is going to sound like a foreign language to some, a lot of people on the independents, because they don't understand it, but like, they give a shit, and they give a lot of shits. You know what I mean? Like, they really, really genuinely care about character development, because it's a testament to them. Now, I know I haven't spoke of, Pat Buck in a long time, and, I don't really have anything to say about him now, but what I'm telling you, what I learned under him is just, is everything, and it's like, I was a sponge, there was so many things, and it's the reason why I was able to do the things that I'm doing, even on commentary, even, promoting shows and becoming an actual wrestling promoter, and the way a match works, intricacies. The dude's one of the smartest guys I've ever listened to. And guess where he learned, Josh? He learned under Al Snow, Rip Rogers. Like, that's a testament to those guys. I know you were there, but I'm saying that's a testament to those guys. And you need to trickle this shit down, because when I was active in the ring, and I was only active for like 4.5 years, but like I got to learn through Pat. I got to learn through the seminars I took, and one of the seminars was Dustin Rhodes. You know, I was like, this is learning from him.
Only 4.5 years. Watching your matches felt like decades. You know, I'm kidding. I don't watch your matches. Stop. This is inappropriate, James Sorensen.
2025.
Okay. If we may go back in time, you mentioned that this is not the first holiday special of the Wrestling Hour. We did one last season, right?
Yeah.
The final show of 2023.
Okay.
Dave Sturchio took those big balls out and put them on the table and said, 2024, you were going to see the return of destruction to the ring.
Okay. Go on.
I believe you also kind of issued a challenge to Danny Moff somewhere in there as well.
Can I elaborate? Because if we're being honest, there was a return to the ring for destruction on one night in a battle royal in which I eliminated you from.
Was that this year?
So, that was this year, dude.
No, I thought that was the end of. Was that really this year? I thought that was the end of.
Shit, that was 2023. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, because we did it on the show. Yeah, no.
We had a spot at ISPW, and I beat up Danny Moff, and I beat you up.
I punched you in the belly. Thank you very much.
Still feel it. But yeah, so
I felt it. I had a broken back, and I was like, and Moff's like, hit him, and I'm like, all right, boom, and I'm like, oh God, that hurt horrible.
That's a great time.
Yeah, but so, okay, 2025, you coming back? Lacing them up one more time?
I am making a promise to myself because you know what it'll do for me? It will motivate me more in the gym. You know what I mean? Like, I'm already motivated in the gym. I'm like a freaking caged animal there. But like, to get the wind going again, to get the cardio a little bit better, you know what I mean? Like, those are the things that I really want to do. And in order to do that, if I just said, hey, Dave, you know, a Fight Factory wrestling match over in Woodbridge High School, your alma mater, why not get in the ring? And I have already kind of kicked around the idea of a said match between tag team match, that is, and there's no way I'm doing one-on-ones. But I will say that there is a heavy rumor circulating the dirt sheets. And by dirt sheets, I mean just my notepad in my phone.
Which are just filthy because he dropped them on the ground.
Dave Destruction to tag up with one Casey Navarro to potentially start this Thunder and Lightning tag team that we never got to start back in 2015. And we would take on Sent to Slaughter. So we shall see what the new year brings. I might know a promoter or two that will make that happen.
Yeah.
One being me.
Wow.
So, yeah. That's
you know, Casey Navarro and I were going to team up once upon a time. We were going to be called Jewish Lightning. Stop. Terrible. I got Christmas trees and snowmen.
Oh, and Josh, before we get out of here, the Shernoff Awards coming back.
Coming back, man. Oh, they're coming all right. They will be dropping this weekend. So if you're watching this on Friday, I believe Saturday, you will be getting the Shernoff Awards. They're done. They're recorded.
Would you like to give a spoiler and say that what like categories or anything like that, or you want to leave it all?
We've got Booker of the Year.
Okay.
We've got which is the first time doing something like that. We have you'd think since it's been about 24 hours since I recorded it and I I wrote it, you'd think I'd remember more.
Spoiler alert, Booker of the Year is me, not Tony Khan.
Tune in and find out. But
I really don't know. I'm just
No, we have, let's find out. I'm going to give you a couple of hints real quick. Okay? I'm looking on my notes here.
If you were to tag up with Mr. Sarcasm himself, what is the name of this tag team? For me and Josh, the tag team name is the Wrestling Hour. That's what the friggin' tag team name is.
Because we're going to go Broadway, folks.
Oh, baby. Don't you dare say 10 minutes. You're nuts. But go ahead.
We have the That Didn't Age Well Award, which takes a look at the best of things that happened while I was away and the 3 years I took off from this show.
Okay.
Right. Which, by the way, I did the George Costanza. I left on top. I won an award for Best Host from the Academy of Web Television, the International Academy of Web Television. And then I stopped the show because you can't lose the next year if you don't have a show.
Right. If you don't have a show, you can't defend.
Yeah, we've got some fun ones. The Undeserved Confidence Award. That's another one that I'm excited for. And then one that maybe really enjoyed was the I Control You Better because I have my own show. That's I Can Troll You Better because I have my own show. So yeah, there's a lot of fun things here. It's satirical wrestling news, but I think people will enjoy it. And that'll be available on the MyFandom YouTube channel this Saturday.
Can't wait. All right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a fun wrestling hour.
You didn't want me to be in that match, by the way? You and Casey
gonna manage those schmucks?
I'll manage them. Yeah, I'll trip you. I don't care.
You trip me, I'll break your freaking fingers. Anyway, listen, it has been a fantastic episode of the Wrestling Hour. I hope all the people that are still watching. You all right over there?
Yeah, that went up my nose.
Yeah, well, listen, won't be the first time. Crazy. For anybody watching Jeff Jarrett's show, hopefully they can catch up on us and tune in instead of watching a taped version of Raw. You can tune in and catch up on the Wrestling Hour. I want to thank everybody at adfreeshows.com for the platform. Obviously, it's been very, very cool. We've done a lot of cool shit here. I'm very excited about the future of that. 2025, a lot of cool things down the pike. I'll be talking to Josh off air about some potential dates in January to see what's going on with a couple developing things. And then, that'll be that.
I have nog in my nostril right now.
Nice. So for Dave Sturchio and Josh Shernoff, signing off. Merry Christmas to those who celebrate Christmas. Happy Hanukkah to those Hebrews and Shebrews out there. And of course, happy Kwanzaa. Anything you celebrate.
When is Kwanzaa, by the way, Dave?
December 5th. Yes. You get that?
It got a little glitchy there for a second, but I think you got it right.
I definitely got it right. Fact checking, bitch. Anyway, see you guys later. Merry Christmas.
Bye now.
Take care.